We recently took a trip to Lake Bled, Slovenia, and really loved exploring the area and trying Slovenian food. Lake Bled was full of natural beauty and is really a hidden gem of a destination. Check out our Lake Bled video to learn more. While we were there, we enjoyed trying the local specialties, including Potica, a sweet rolled bread that can be filled with a variety of fillings. Now we're going to try to make our own potica. We're baking this in our Airbnb kitchen, which means we don't have everything we would normally use at home, so we're going to do the best we can with what we have available. See the video description for the exact recipe and measurements. Welcome to Turks Who Eat. We're Alex and Mehmet, a couple who loves to travel and eat. We also bring our dog, Bindi, along with us for as many adventures as possible. We love traveling, and eating local foods tends to be the highlight of our travels. We love to discover the local dishes and learn how to make them ourselves. Follow along with us as we explore the world, discover local foods, and attempt to recreate them. To make the potica, you start by making a yeasted dough. Add 2 packets or 14 grams of yeast to a 1/4 cup of warm water. Stir them to combine and set it aside for about 10 minutes until it is very bubbly. While you're waiting on your yeast, warm 1 cup of milk. It shouldn't be boiling, but just warmed through. Once it's warm, pour it into a large bowl. Melt a 1/4 cup of butter and add it to the milk. Then add 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt and whisk to combine. When the yeast is bubbly, add it to the milk mixture. Then add 2 eggs and whisk until it is all well combined. Now it's time to add the flour. You'll add a total of 4 cups, 1 at a time, and whisk to combine. We don't have any measuring cups where we're staying, so we're eyeballing this and really hoping it turns out okay. Once your dough starts to come together, knead it on a floured surface for about 10 minutes until it becomes a smooth ball. Of course, you could also do this in a stand mixer, which is definitely what we would be doing if we were making this at home. Place the dough in a lightly greased bowl, cover it, and set it aside to rise for 1 to 2 hours until it has doubled in size. Once your dough has doubled in size, punch it down and let it rise for another 10 minutes. Then it will be ready to use. While we're waiting for our dough to be ready, we're going to make the filling for our potica. Potica can be filled with a wide variety of nuts and fruits, but today we're just going to do a simple walnut filling. For this, we're chopping up 1/2 pound of walnuts, adding them to a bowl with 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and about 1/2 cup of melted butter. I also suggest adding some vanilla, cinnamon, or other spices to the mixture if you have them. Now it's time to roll out the dough. You want to roll it out into a rectangle shape that is about 1 centimeter thick. At this point, we realize that we don't have a rolling pin here, so we're improvising with the best thing we could find, an empty wine bottle. It seems to work out okay. Once you've rolled out your dough, spread your filling across the surface. Then, roll the dough up to create a log, and then roll the log inside itself to create a spiral shape. Carefully transfer the potica to a baking sheet and brush with melted butter. Again, we don't have a brush, so we're kind of just pouring the butter lightly over it. Bake the potica in a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius for 30 to 45 minutes, until it is golden brown. Remove from the oven and let it cool for 15 to 20 minutes. Top it with some powdered sugar, and your potica is ready to be enjoyed. When you slice it open, the potica reveals an intricate design made by the rolling and the walnut filling. We really enjoyed this treat. The dough is fluffy on the inside, slightly crunchy on the outside, and the walnut filling is just a little sweet. For me, this is the perfect thing to eat for breakfast with a cup of coffee. We really enjoyed our time here in Lake Bled and eating potica and all the other local specialties. We hope you enjoyed discovering it with us and learning how to make your own potica. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to see where we're cooking next.